Welcome back to the How to Podcast series. My name is Dave. Happy to have you here. If it's your first time here, glad that you pressed play. If you've been here before, you know where to sit. You know where your seat is. Go grab a seat. We're going to be talking today about being a guest on other podcasts and why you as a host might not be getting all the opportunities ahead of you by avoiding being a guest. You should be a guest. You really should. You should be a guest on this show. You should be on a guest on many podcasts. And I think that you need to add this to your calendar as an opportunity for you to grow your reach, leverage other people's audiences, and have more people find out about your show. When people come to me and say, Dave, I want to grow my podcast. I want more listeners. I want a bigger audience. I want to build a community. One of the first questions I'm going to ask them is, well, why? And then the second one would be, are you even talking to people outside of your own podcast? And for the most part, I'd say well over 3/4 of the people I talk to don't leverage podcasts as a guest. You're so busy doing your own show that you never invest time in being a guest on someone else's show. Why podcast hosts should be guests on other podcasts? By appearing as a guest on someone else's podcast, it offers you the unique opportunity to expand your reach, to get in front of other people who don't know about you, and to expose your expertise, your value, your heart to another audience that's very similar to yours that reaches them. And you become a great support to the host of that other podcast. It's a great way to build these connections with other people who are also in the podcasting space. And I wanted to kind of give you some thoughts around how you can maximize your impact as a guest and honor the host of the show hosting you as a guest. Here's a few thoughts for you. So some key things around being a guest on a show and why you should be a guest as a podcaster on someone else's podcast. You can grow your audience. You can tap into a new listener base of people who listen to podcasts much better than going on somebody's Instagram and hoping that whoever's on Instagram will follow you to somewhere else off of Instagram, off of Facebook, off of TikTok, and follow you over to a listening app and then press play. You might as well go where the people are, and the people who listen to podcasts are listening to a podcast. So talk to the audience that's already assembled on someone else's platform. It'll help you to grow your audience. It'll help you to build authority. Sharing your expertise and your unique perspective on whatever you talk about allows you to be in front of a totally different audience that don't even know who you are. And your reputation and your credibility will grow simply by you showing up on someone else's show. It's a great way to network with peers. Again, I don't believe podcasters should podcast alone. So anytime that you can be with another podcaster, I think that's a good thing. So it helps to strengthen your relationships. It might lead to opportunities for speaking engagements or co-authoring a book together, or maybe doing a shared podcast together, sharing content, sharing audiences. It's just a great way to network with other people just like you. And as well, you can gain fresh perspectives by being on someone else's show who maybe talks about something that you talk about, but do it in a different way. By you being there, you get to learn through osmosis. You get to kind of ingest how this other person does their show, which could make you better as a podcaster. So what I'm going to do in this episode is I'm going to put little clips of me being on someone else's show, and I'm going to kind of unpack for you in real time my approach as a guest when I come on your show to see what I do different than some of your other guests that you have had on your show. This is my example and some suggestions for you when you go on as a guest on someone else's show, how to show up as the guest. And I want you to hear how I navigate the intro of the podcast on someone else's show. And I want you to hear how I close out my guesting opportunity on someone else's podcast. It's intentional, and I want you to pick up on it. So here's an example.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Soul Podcasting. I have with me a special guest today. His name is Dave. He is awesome. I can't wait to chat with him and to share what he does. He's the host of so many podcasts. We're going to get into that in a moment. He is someone that has created content, community, and stories. And we're about storytelling here. He's also a musician, which is something we have in common. And he is handling podcast editing, growth, and promotion at TrueMediaSolutions.ca. And so welcome to the show, Dave.
As a member of your community who loves what you do, Demetria, I just love everything about your show. You serve us well. And the idea that I can have time with you on your show is an honor for me. So thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you. And I appreciate you being here. I love getting into the heads of podcasters because that's what this show is about. We're talking about podcasting, all about podcasting for podcasters or soon to be podcasters. And so we want to explore like the whole gamut of what it means to be in this space, in this sphere. So I'm wondering, first off, tell us how many shows you host right now.
Okay, I need to put a warning out there for everyone. Please do not try this at home. I do have 9 different podcasts that I host, and I do about 10 to 12 episodes a week across the 9 different shows. So,
my goodness. That's a lot of shows. That's a lot of shows. So, okay. Now what got you into podcasting? How did you get started? And like, what sparked your interest to get into this podcasting?
Music was my gateway into.
So in this example, did you notice how I identified myself as a listener and as a community member for the podcast I was coming on? It's not a lie. It's true. I listen to the show all the time. I love this podcast. And for me to come on, I assume the persona of this podcaster's audience and be a representation on behalf of this podcaster's community to say thank you. It's intentional. I want this podcaster to realize that what they do matters and who they serve matters, and to thank them for their service and thank them for being such a great advocate in the space for their community. I am in that moment, I am a representation of their audience. It goes beyond simply a quick listen to somebody's show, kind of a surface level. And I know we can't do this for every podcast that we may ever go on, but I think it brings a genuineness to what we do as a guest that makes you stand apart from all of the other guests that would ever go on anybody's podcast.
That just tops it all. I love that. Podcasting is for everyone, and you're taking down those barriers. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for that work, because
you do it as well, Demetria, on your show. I listen. You're doing the exact same thing in your content, which is why I love it so much and why I resonate with you as the host so much, because that's your message. And I'm cheering you on at work while I'm doing things. Going,
oh man, thank you.
Rewind that, like, right. Yeah.
I love it. Thank you, Dave. I'm really honored to speak with you. I feel encouraged after this interview. So I'm just like, I'm going to stay on this buzz all day. Thank you so much. You have been a blessing to our audience listening. You have really encouraged those of us who are starting a podcast, those of us who are currently running a few shows and need to stay on the track and not be burned out. You've freed us to be able to do podcasting our way. And I'm just really appreciative of you being here today. So thank you for sharing what you do. Tell us what you do in your editing and all the services that you offer and where we can reach you.
All right. So before I do that, I'm going to talk to the listener for a second, Demetria. So I'm just going to excuse you for a second.
Okay.
As you listen to this podcast, everyone, I know you're here and I know you love what Demetria does and how she shows up for us as listeners. As a fellow community member who also loves this show, I have one ask of you: to go and leave her a rating and review and a comment so that she knows that you're here. So if you're on Spotify, I'm a Spotify person. I'm an Android person. I'm sorry. I'm leaving those 5 stars. I'm leaving comments within the episodes. I want Demetria to hear from us as she shows up for us. She gives her heart to us every episode. The least we can do
is show our appreciation to Demetria. So please, if you're on Apple, you're going to leave a review. You're going to leave your comments and all of your thoughts about why this show is so great. And you're going to share the show with somebody else who's thinking about starting a podcast. Because when they come here as a new listener, they're going to be loved and nurtured and cared for deeply, because that's who Demetria is. So as a listener, that's my request of you, to show love to Demetria and this amazing show. Okay, so that aside, TrueMediaSolutions.ca is all my stuff. I'd love for you to come visit. If you're a podcaster and you want to see what the meetup looks like, it's completely free. We don't have any ads, no selling, no nothing of that stuff. It's all family there. And it's people loving each other, which is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Podcasting should be done in community. Yes. Don't try to do this alone. Don't go swimming alone, and don't podcast alone. Find somebody that you can podcast with. You need a buddy in this. Yes. You have it with Demetria. Her community's great. She's great. And if I can serve you in any way, in addition to what Demetria does for you so well, I'd love to be there for you. So TrueMediaSolutions.ca.
I love it. Thank you, Dave. Everyone listening, be sure to check out what Dave is doing. Join his community. Follow his work. Listen to his shows. He has a lot of shows for you, so you get to pick which one resonates with you and whichever ones they are. And I will list them all in the show notes. And again, thank you for being here today.
So that's just an example, okay? How you show up and also how you leave the conversation at the end. Again, pointing people back to the host and honoring the host that has graciously given you the opportunity to be on their podcast. Especially if you're in the same kind of topic. So for this one example, with Demetria, I talk about podcasting and so does she. We both say similar things to different audiences. We're kind of on the same wavelength, but she does it differently than I do. And in that, there's space for us, even though technically we're direct competition for each other. We are here to support each other. And she's coming on the How to Podcast series as well. So it's a win-win all around. But I just wanted you to pick up on how I navigated my intro on her episode and the outro. Pick up on that and see if you can use some of that as an example for your own guesting opportunities in the future.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Podcaster Nation. That's right. I said welcome back because I know you were just listening to our stuff and you said, I want more. And so you came back wanting more. And guess what? We have more for you. We got a lot more for you. This is the podcast that is about podcasters. It's for podcasters. It's done by podcasters. This is the place where we all come together to support each other. This is the place where the rising tide raises all ships. Folks, this is the spot where we talk to awesome podcasters like what we have on today. Very often I talk to people about, my 2 podcasts that I run and putting content out every day. And even when I got on the pre-interview today, I'm talking to this gentleman and I'm like, oh man, it was busy. And I had to stop and realize that the gentleman that I'm talking to today has 9 podcasts. So I'm over here crying to this guy who's just going, yeah, cry me a river, pal. That's right. Keep telling me how busy you are. Please welcome to the show, the host of the Dad Space podcast, the How to Podcast, and 7 more that I'm going to let him tell you all about. David Campbell. David, how you doing, sir?
I am thrilled to be here as an avid listener of the Podcast Nation. It's always great to be with you, Rory. So thank you. Glad to be here.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. And you said it feels good to be sitting in the passenger seat over there, huh?
Well, like on any big road trip, the person sitting next to the driver is in charge of the radio, all of the buttons, going through the glove box, looking for snacks, and playing with the window. That's kind of what I'm going to do. I'm going to be on my best behavior, but there's so many buttons over here in the passenger seat. I'm just loving every second of this. This is fun.
Oh, that's great. Now, David was on my other podcast. The Power Man podcast was a fantastic episode. We got to talk about a lot of things having to do with, fatherhood and stuff like that. But even when we were talking there, I could not wait, David, to get you on this podcast because you are such an accomplished podcaster. You have so much stuff out there that you're doing for yourself and for other people that I just really I was really looking forward to diving into everything that you do and everything that you put out there. So thank you for coming on here. Let me just say that right up front. Tell everybody, who is David Campbell? Tell us about your podcasts.
Okay, before we talk about me, I want to talk about Rory, everyone. As a listener of this show and a community member on Facebook, I want to just represent the community, Rory, and say thank you for what you do for the podcasting community, how you show up, your passion for people, and getting out people to encouraging people to get out there and podcast, dispelling some of the myths. You did that 3 mini series to help podcasters. I love it. And we're so in sync. We're both doing our own shows separate from each other, but crossing paths in what we talk about. So I'm asking everyone as you're listening to this. So I'm on my Spotify phone right here. I'm on my phone. I'm on my Spotify app. And there's a button that says follow for the Podcast Nation. I want everyone to push that follow button. And there's a little green bell that you turn on beside, which tells you whenever the time there's a new episode. As you're listening to this right now, for the Podcaster Nation, you're going to press the follow button and it's going to turn to following. And that little bell is going to turn green. You need to do that, everyone. And do that while we're listening to this right now. Or whatever app you're listening on, there's a little way for you to follow the show. That way you're going to know when every episode's coming out. Roy doesn't have to remind you that there's a new episode because you already know because you're following the show. So that's your homework as we start off. Please, everyone, go follow the show. It's a great show, Roy.
Thank you very much, David. I appreciate it. You were always so gracious, man, when you're on here, and I appreciate it very, very much. And thank you for the support.
So we talked about the key reasons to be a guest on a podcast: grow your audience, build your authority, network with peers, and gain fresh perspectives. But how are we to show up on a podcast, and how can we bring value as a guest on a podcast? Here's a few thoughts for you. You got to do your research. First of all, right off the top, if you want to show up in a great way and be a great guest on someone's podcast, research the show. Like, listen to previous episodes, understand the host style, the tone of the show. Is it thoughtful? Is it happy? Is it light? Is it deep? Understand and listen to how the host talks to their audience and try to capture how they speak to their audience. And when you're the guest on the show, speak in the same manner to their audience. Honor the audience. Don't come in as you, trying to change the audience to like you. You need to adapt to the show as a guest on that other podcast. Remember, you're not in the driver's seat here. And my caution to you as well, as it comes to mind, is to not run away with the show. As podcasters, we love to talk and we love being in the driver's seat of our show. But as a guest on someone's podcast, you got to come up for air and you got to let them jump in, and they're the leader on their podcast. You're not. So keep your answers concise. Don't ramble. Don't get preachy. Don't go off on tangents. Don't hijack the show. Answer the questions in a succinct manner. Give your best thoughtful advice. Give your answers in clip formats, which could easily be translated into clips that your host might share of you on their show. But don't go too far, too long, and too deep. And if your host is looking at you and they haven't spoken for a long time because you keep going on and on and on and on, it's time for you to wrap it up, land the plane, and let them have control of their show again. There will be another question, but you got to be short enough in your responses to the last question to give your host a chance. Remember, you're a guest on someone else's show. Please be kind and give the host the opportunity to ask their next question. You're going to really have to be disciplined here, because I know you love to talk. You're a podcaster. But when you're a guest on someone's show, give back the mic as soon as you can so that your host can ask the next question. Remember, it's not your show. You are the guest. Do your research, understand the tone of the show, the audience, so that you know how you can direct your answer to bring value to that show. Clarify your value as well. Identify your unique insights. Have talking points. Have something that you like to cover, a signature quote, a signature thought, a 3-part step, something that's valuable to the listener and to the audience that's gathered around the show that you're guesting on. Make sure you got that in your back pocket. Maybe put it in front of you by the screen when you're on the show, that you're going to cover these main things. and have that up front show up with value. Show up with a reason to be there. Don't just show up and hope for the best. Offer some unique insights and try to align what you do as a guest on the show around the theme of the podcast you're guesting on and something that serves the audience interests that are listening to this conversation. Remember, you're the guest. People are showing up for the host, and you're the guest on their show. So honor the guests, honor the host, and honor the audience as a guest on the podcast. Prepare your talking points. Bring actionable advice, anecdotes, stories. People love stories. You got to have a story. Don't just have three bullet points. Have a story that goes with it and why you're using these. And make everything value the audience. Engage authentically. Be present. Listen actively. Don't just listen to respond. Listen to what the host is asking of you. Frame it in a way that serves the audience as your answer. And then, as a guest, promote the episode. I know we're all busy people, but this is a missed opportunity. If you don't get out there and promote your guesting experience on that show, you're missing out on the potential of grabbing that audience and reminding them that you were on this show. It's a great opportunity for you to share. So when the host reaches out to you and gives you shareable artwork and assets for your episode, share them. Share them. Tell people about the show. And get it out there to the world so that more people will invite you on as well. One thing I check on my guests is if they share their previous episodes. And if I go to their Instagram or I go to their social platform and I don't see them sharing any of their past 5 episodes where they've been a guest, I can pretty well anticipate they're not going to share my show either. So I'm looking at that. And people are looking at you to see what you're doing with your last podcast episodes. So promote, share. Here's another example of me on another show. And again, you'll hear me highlight the host and highlight the reason why I'm on the show and my gratitude for being on the show. And again, how I wrap up my conversation. So here's another example.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to this conversation with Dave from True Media Solutions in Canada. Dave's got a bunch of different shows. You want to tell everybody what your shows are, Dave?
Oh, how long is the podcast, Bob? We got a lot.
About 5 minutes. We're good.
Okay, 5 minutes. We're good. Yeah, a bunch of shows. I have a podcast for dads called Dad Space. I have a How to Podcast series, teaches podcasting. Bob has been a great guest on there. An author podcast. So many great things.
Wow.
And I just love podcasting. I think I do 6 to 10 episodes a week, Bob.
Really?
Yeah.
And it's all here at truemediasolutions.ca. Not to be confused with any other C that's in the internet world.
No. Yeah, CA is because I'm in Canada. So.
Right, yeah. Well, hey, I mean, you can get the other ones, can't you, up there? I mean, they'd like to do that.
Yeah, sometimes they're expensive, but yeah.
Yeah, but I was going to say, but you like to have the Canadian branding these days is much more valuable.
There you go.
I would say, I don't know, maybe both people have their opinion on it, but I'm not sure. But you do a bunch of the now. I mean, do you do other stuff as well? Because I'm assuming that you don't just do shows all day, right? You do other things too.
I'm a musician. I've been doing music for 45 years. I am old. But yeah, then I also have a job. I have a night job. I work overnights. So I listen to podcasts where I work. I get away with it. And I love listening to shows.
Get away with it.
Yeah.
This is a secret.
Yeah, don't tell anybody. This is not being recorded, right, Bob? Yeah.
No, not at all.
No, not at all. No.
That's not the purpose of this poll process. So yeah, no, that's great. So I mean, it's fantastic. So then, how did you when did you jump on the bandwagon? I guess is what I'm curious about, because I mean, you're really invested at this point.
Yeah.
And so at some point there was a time where you're like, you know what, this might be fun.
I was doing editing for podcasters here and there prior to the global event, which we will leave at that. And I wasn't podcasting at that point, but I was editing for people.
Mm-hmm.
I have all the equipment because I'm a musician to do editing and recording, and I'd have rehearsals here in my house. send back recordings of the rehearsal to the band so they could hear what we were doing together.
Mhm.
So I was already doing it. I had all the gear. I'm like, well, why don't I just do this? I love podcasts as a listener.
Mhm.
So I'm going to start. So just before the global event, I started creating my shows, and one show became 9. So now I have a lot. As you get on more shows, you will have the opportunity to reach an audience that you would never reach on your own. And as you struggle trying to build community and audience around your show, by negating the opportunity of being a guest, it's going to make it very difficult for you to build in a sustainable way and grow an audience so that your podcast gets more listens by simply being a guest and adding this to your calendar on a regular basis with intention that I'm going to get on one podcast a month, 12 a year, or half of that. Every second month, I'm going to make it a priority that I'm going to be on a podcast 6 times a year, 6 interviews. Come on, 6 interviews. You can do this. You could even take 1 week off in that month where you're guesting because you don't have time to be a guest and do your own show. Your audience will be fine with that because you're still being a podcaster, and then you can get on and share the episode with your audience and say, hey, I was on this show and this is me as a guest. You want to go hear it? Here's a link. And talk about it on your show. You have a platform, and your audience gets to hear you in a different context as a guest than when you're the host. You're going to be asked questions. You're on the receiving end, not on the serving end, and they get to see a different side of you. And you'll talk about things on someone else's show you may never talk about on your own show. So share the episode with your audience on your own podcast, just like I'm doing here. Do this for your own show and let people know where you're guesting. Keep them up to date. You can treat it just like you being a guest speaker on an event. What's the difference? It's the same. You're just guesting on a different podcast. So share it with your audience and tell them about it. Be proud of that. And just let people know that you've been out there doing the thing and that you are an active guest on podcasts. You'll get more opportunities that way as well. When you're on a podcast as a guest, my encouragement for you as a podcaster guesting on someone else's show is to honor the host when you're the guest. Respect their platform. They've built this audience. They've built this podcast from zero, just like you've done. Follow their guidelines, respect their time limits, avoid overtly self-promoting yourself. This conversation and you being a guest on their show is not about you. Yes, I know you're the guest, and yes, you're on their show, but everything points back to the listener. If there is no value for who's pressing play on this conversation, then this conversation has no meaning. It's great to connect with people and record an episode. It's great practice, but if there's no value at the end of the day for the person who presses play, then why are you doing this? So it's not all about you talking about your coaching program and your book and your thing and your links and your email newsletter, and it's about the audience, and it's about the value that they walk away from when they finish listening to your episode on someone else's show. Respect the platform that you've been given the opportunity to be on. Handle it with respect. Acknowledge their work. Compliment the host's interviewing style or highlight something that you've enjoyed about their show. And be specific. Hey man, I love your show. That's meaningless. Meaningless. Anybody can say that. But bring out examples and highlight things that bring you value to you as a listener of that show, and acknowledge their work. Compliment them. Grab the mic and be thoughtful and say something gracious about this podcast. Be gracious and grateful. Thank the host on air and afterward, and offer to reciprocate or collaborate on future projects together. And encourage engagement. Direct listeners back to the host's show. That's what I do. Back to their show. right? Again, you're on their platform. I love asking the audience of the podcast I'm guesting on to not come to me in the moment, but go to the host show and leave them a rating and review. They may be shy to say that, but you're the guest. You can do whatever you want. Then ask the audience and say, listen, this show that I'm a guest on today, I'm so glad to be here. Before I talk about where to find me and my website, please go and leave this person a review and let them know that you love this show. I know they'd love to hear your thoughts. Send them an email, send them a DM. Do that because they really serve us as an audience. That's your opportunity as a guest on the show to flip the script and bring people to the host of the show. Watch their face change on camera as you do that because it's rare. Don't miss the opportunity to promote the show you're on. Okay? Make sure you do that. So here's another example of me on another show, just to give you some more context. Again, I'm not an expert on being a guest, but this is how I do it. Here's another example.
Good morning, guys, and welcome to the podcast from close to Ontario, Canada. I have Dave Campbell, and he is a podcaster, and he's got a lot of ideas around building a platform with podcasts and for the audience and listeners, viewers that are interested in building a community using podcasting as a medium. I'm really happy to have him on. So Dave, welcome.
Excellent, Chris. I love your show. You have an amazing guest lineup here on the podcast, so I'm thrilled that I have a few moments with you today. It's great.
Yeah. And briefly introduce yourself, and I'm excited to delve into the conversation.
Yeah, I live in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, near Niagara Falls. I'll give you a spoiler alert. It's a big hill, lots of water. A lot of people come to see Niagara Falls. It's a beautiful place. I've been podcasting for about 6 years now. I host 9 different podcasts on my own, and I also help people create their own podcast, whether you're a doctor, a speaker, a lawyer. I work with people and helping them get their message out to the world. So great to be with you, Chris.
Interesting. So kind of talk about just the area of podcasting, because, you know, a lot of thought leaders, influencers, public speakers, coaches, you know, they have blogs, they have newsletter, they have social media. Why tune to podcasting currently?
Podcasting is growing. We're seeing it in the market right now that being able to take you along with me as I travel and be able to hear your message. A blog is great. Love blogs. They don't travel well in the car. You can't read while you drive. You shouldn't be. So having something in an audio format, I love podcasting because it's a companion piece for people as they do their daily. So some key takeaways as we head towards the exit here. I want you to consider when being a guest as a podcaster on someone else's show, that this is an opportunity to serve another audience and strengthen your reputation as a collaborative and generous podcaster. You need to be prepared. You need to show up in an authentic way with gratitude. All of these things are essential to making a positive impression and honoring your host. Every guest appearance is a chance for you to build a lasting relationship and grow your podcasting community. Here's another example of me on another show. And I just said we wrap up, I have 3 questions for you to consider at the end of the episode. But here's one more clip for you of Dave being a guest. To all the people that have had me on in the past on your show, thank you. And I know I could fill this whole episode with clips with all of the amazing people who have said yes to having this guy, Dave, on their show. I really appreciate every opportunity. You've been so kind to allow me to come on your show. One thing that I can talk about right here as we kind of wrap up is Podmatch, where I get a lot of the amazing guests who come on this show and some of my other shows. Podmatch.com has a Podcasting Made Simple, and it's an event that they hold quarterly. And Podcasting Made Simple, what happens is I do a pre-recorded video of a topic, and then they share it to the community. And it's like kind of like a TED Talk version of podcasting, basically, if you're format wise. And they play the video that I've pre-recorded. And then at the end, I stick around and there's a host in the room with me. And we just kind of expand on what happened in that video. It's about 16 minutes roughly. And then for the remainder of the 30 minutes in that time together, what we do is we just kind of expand on it, answer any questions from people in the room, and just go a little deeper with it. It's a great way to build that relationship and get to learn from the great guests they have on the Podmatch Podcasting Made Simple. What I love about this is they have 2 tracks. They have one that's geared more to guesting, designed for people who want to be a guest, and they also have a track for people who are hosts looking for guests, how to be a better podcaster. So 2 different tracks. So the one I'm doing is more focused in this first one around the podcaster and how you can work with your audience and growing that. And then the other track I'm going to be working on in the future is one more geared towards guesting. So I'm going to be covering both, which is exciting. I would love to have you there. There's a link in the show notes to come and join us for this. It'll be in the middle of July, and it's during the week, and it's during the day. So if you're available and you can make your plans work to be there, I would love to have you in the audience and come and I'd like to have a friendly face who listens to the show and be there to kind of help cheer me on because I'm a nervous introvert in public. Yeah. And having you there would really help. So if you're interested and you have time and you can make it work, please come out and join us for the Podmatch Podcasting Made Simple July event 2025. And what's going to happen is they'll re-release this in the future as an episode of Podcasting Made Simple, the podcast, and you can hear this in a future date. They'll release it out later on this year. But I'd love for you to come check it out, the live version, and be in the room with me. It'd be fun. It'd be fun to have you there. So again, I'll have a link for Podmatch and Podcasting Made Simple. Come and check it out. It'd be great to have you there. As we wrap up, there's 3 questions that I want you to consider as you think about guesting on podcasts and how you show up as a guest on different shows. So first, what is the most valuable thing that you could bring in content to your next guesting appearance? What is it? Do you know it? Do you know it inside out? Can you say it off the top of your head without having to read it? What is the thing that you're most passionate about in the moment, which could change? You could have a different message next week, but right now, top of mind, if I had you on my show and said, what are you passionate about right now in podcasting? Could you answer the question? Come prepared. Have an answer to that. Have your most valuable message first and foremost in the front of your mind, cue cards, something to remind you. But what is your most valuable takeaway and thought, actionable item for an audience to engage with because of you being on that show? What is it? Establish that. Prepare for every podcast episode as a guest and make sure your preparation fits the tone of the show. Don't try to square in a round hole, that whole thing. Don't try to just jam your message into every podcast and try to do it the same way, but alter it, tweak it so that the audience that you want to reach is reached. And it's not one size fits all when you podcast and when you're a guest on these shows. It's not one size fits all. So keep that in mind and adjust for the audience. And one last thing. Settle on one way that you can honor the host as a guest on their show. And do it during the recording, not after the recording's happened. Do it on mic and do it in front of the host. It might feel a little weird, but I can tell you there's audience members that would love the opportunity to be in your chair talking to that host on a show that they love, and for you to jump in and do that on their behalf. As a listener, I think you're awesome that you did that for me because I don't have the opportunity as a listener to be on this show. So you've taken that opportunity for me and spoken for me to the host. Thank you. And to the host, it's real. Like, one of the things we hear from podcasters, nobody tells me what they think of my show. So you be that. You be that on the next opportunity as a guest. And you take that opportunity to be that voice of the listeners and thank that host for what they do, episode to episode, week to week, and how they show up. Take that opportunity and don't let it pass you by. Very important. And I would encourage you to start adding to your calendar right now for the rest of this year. How often can you be a guest? And the intentionality of being on the right show. Don't waste your time. Don't go on shows that don't align with your message. Go on shows that match with what you do, and go on shows that you admire. Be a guest on those shows. Reach out to the host and tell them why you listen. Be active in their comments. Be active in the Spotify comments or the Apple reviews. Be active on their social media. And then ask about opportunities to be a guest on their show. It's a great way. And if you're not sure, invite first. Ask them to be on your show. Serve them well as a host on your podcast. And then they will feel, if the relationship's great, they'll feel like you'll be a great idea for them to be on their show. So you can always initiate the conversation by inviting them on your show first. But I do want you to be a guest. It is like Improv 101. You don't know what's coming next. You don't know what the next question is for most of the time. So you're going to have to react. And in being in a reactive state, you're going to learn something about yourself. You're going to learn about how you listen and how you process questions and how you respond. It's a great stretching opportunity that you're not going to get hosting your own show. So my encouragement, be a guest. If you have a podcast or if you want to start a podcast and you want to be a guest, you can come on this show because I'm always looking for people just like you to be guest co-hosts on the show. It's a little different. It's not an interview. It's co-hosted where we can ask each other questions. I'm not just firing questions at you left and right, but we get to ask each other questions and have a conversation. I do that on purpose. But if you want to be a guest, especially even if you don't even have your show out yet, it doesn't matter. You're on the journey of discovering podcasting. Then come on my show. howtopodcast.ca has my calendar link. You can reach me anytime. You don't even have to send me an email. You can go right to the website and my calendar link's right there for you. Come on the show. Let's get you on, especially if you've never done this before. It's a great opportunity for you to grow, to stretch yourself, and to find your voice. Be a guest. Show up. Be intentional. Honor the host. And hopefully a few of these examples from me on other shows will give you some context about how you can be better. Again, I'm not the best. I'm working on it. I'm working on improving every day. And I hope that you find opportunities to be a guest as well. And if it starts here, then come on. Come join me. I would love to have you on. Anybody that listens to the show, I would love to have you on my podcast. howtopodcast.ca. Go be a guest. Share your message. Show up with value. Honor the audience and the host. And you'll see great results for your podcast. Stop whining and complaining about your podcast not growing. And then still at the same time not doing anything to get yourself out in front of new audiences. Stop that. Start being a guest. It'll help you so much. I'd love to help you as well. Thanks for listening. Hey, thanks for being here. Thank you for listening to the end of the podcast. You're here with me. I'm so grateful. I want to put something in front of you. For the person that's listened this far, you're my new best friend. So what I'm trying to do every month is I have a goal, and you can help me with this goal. Very simple. What I'm trying to do is have 5 conversations this month with listeners of the How to Podcast series. You don't have to have a podcast to respond. This can be the first time ever that we're going to have a conversation, but I'm looking to talk to 5 people. Now, you're still here, so you're one of the people that I would love to talk to next. So on my howtopodcast.ca website is a calendar, and I'd love to have you respond on howtopodcast.ca. Just click the calendar link, set up time in my calendar, and in the comments section for the meeting, just put something like listener. That's it. If you have a show, put it in the comments too so I can go listen. But if you don't, I just want to talk to 5 listeners every month from now to the end of the month. So if you're listening to me right now, you're the person I want to talk to. And through howtopodcast.ca, you and I can get together, chat about the show, chat about your journey as a podcaster. Where are you at? What do you need the show to become for you? What's missing? Your feedback. I just want to meet you. And as podcasters, I would encourage you to do something similar to this in your podcast so that you can meet and interact with your audience. So, howtopodcast.ca, I'm looking to talk to 5 people every month, and I would love for you to be one of them. Reach out. It's free. I'm not selling you anything. I just want to talk to you at howtopodcast.ca. Let's get in the calendar and chat. Thanks for listening.